Hey everybody again. Today is another different video from what I usually make, and I'm not going to be complaining about a previous employer or something like that, but I kind of just wanted to make this video to kind of why I started YouTube and content creation in general. And it kind of started when I was at a young age, and the YouTubers I grew up on were Smosh and PewDiePie, and a couple animators like Gonzo SSM, but mostly like skit-based channels and gaming channels. What else? The Rad Brad, a little bit of Sky Does Minecraft, you know. But when watching those videos, it was a good time. Like, I enjoyed all the people I had watched, and I think it was like elementary school at the time. I was like, wow, like, wouldn't it be fun to do this? Like, start making YouTube videos? Because I'd look at them and they like, you could see them in the videos and they would look like happy. You know, I know some YouTubers put on like this facade or this mask where they seem happier than they actually are. But the YouTubers I would watch, I'm like, at least to me, you know, they seemed happy doing what they're doing, especially when talking about doing it and their reason for doing it. It always came from like a place of passion and not from money. This was before YouTube got like big, and it was like there was metas and all that stuff, and what was the best way to make money and get advertisement. So when people like these early YouTubers, they were doing it because they just loved it for the love of the game, I guess. And watching them, it would resonate with me, and I was like, wow, this is, maybe I should take a shot at this, you know, that kind of thing. So eventually I got like an Elgato and started making YouTube videos, and to my surprise and a lot of other people's surprises when they first start making content, like, I wasn't getting any views, and it was very discouraging. Because especially when you're that young, you're like, like, you know, maybe not a lot of people want to watch my videos, or maybe I'm just not cut out for this, right? But I still did it anyways, mostly because I would play, you know, I was a gaming channel, kind of like the gaming channel I have now, but mostly because the people I would play with, like my friends, we would just kind of like do a lot of banter and like joke around and that kind of stuff. And I guess to me it was nice to commemorate those moments, just like, so like kind of like a time capsule where you just capture that moment in time, and you know, maybe you could go back and watch those videos and just like you know, look at them and like think about the past and be like, oh, you know what, those were good times, like times were simpler, you know, because as you get older you don't really hang out with those same people as much, or like people in general, because you're just so busy. But yeah, that was kind of like the reason why I started making YouTube videos, and I enjoyed it for a time, but I just was kind of like, I gave up because I was just like, well, I'm not like getting, you know, any views, because I know like they say like don't expect to make it big off YouTube, or just kind of like do it because you love it. But like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm doing this and like I enjoy it, but like I'm still getting no views. And like if I've been doing it for, you know, like X amount of years, you'd figure that you would get like some traction, just like not like a crazy amount, but like maybe like a couple subscribers. But no, like it just never really took off until I had kind of like shifted. I think at this point I was like in high school, and I wasn't hanging out with like the same group of friends I was hanging out with. The people I was like making content with, or like that were in my gaming videos, they were like friends I had in Canada, that I had just met online, like when I was really young, and like I think we met at Call of Duty Black Ops 2, you know, very good game. And that's kind of like how things took off. But you know, as you get older, you kind of drift apart, not like personalities, but just, you know, life, like people grow up, right? So yeah, like I was in high school, and then I'm like, this is kind of like my main group of friends now, and we're just kind of like chatting, and we're like, let's start a podcast. And I was like, fuck it, yeah, like let's start a podcast. And I was kind of like, I said it earlier, but you can even see it in my YouTube banner. I've just always been into YouTube and just like recording and filming and stuff. So like the setup I had while in high school was like a setup you could use for podcasting. So we got started on a podcast. The podcast initially had started as, because me and my group of friends at the time were doing track and field, so it was supposed to be about that, kind of just like training for upcoming matches, our events, what's going on, like if anybody got sick, that kind of thing. And just, it was like a way to, again, talk and catch up while also like working on something, which I think was fun for me at that age, just like something to work towards, because I never was really artistically gifted, like in the traditional sense where like I could draw really well, or I could sing really well. I was mostly just like really good at math and literature and that kind of stuff. So for me, it was kind of nice to work on something and still have people appreciate it, even though it isn't like something that isn't traditionally considered art. But as the days went on and we started posting more and more episodes from the podcast, it started to shift from like less and less about track and field and more about like what's going on in like our personal lives, and school drama and that kind of stuff. And when we started doing that, it was like, it did really well. Like it did really, really good. And I'm like thinking like, okay, like this was supposed to be like, about track and field, but it's not just me anymore. It's like all multiple people who are a part of this podcast. Sure, they don't edit it, they didn't like provide the equipment or any of that stuff, but they're still like a part of it. So I'm kind of like listening to their opinions, and they're kind of like, like these episodes are doing numbers, they're doing views, let's just keep it up. And I think there were two things that were like, well, one, it was like I mentioned earlier, I just have never really seen numbers like that before, so I wasn't too against keeping it up. I'm like, maybe they're right. And the other one was like, I was kind of like a people pleaser at the time. I just didn't want to upset the people who were directly a part of the podcast. And I was like, well, like everybody wants to keep doing it, and if I'm the only one who's going against it, like that just creates friction. I don't want them being upset at me. And also the people who are watching the podcast, like the viewers, like it, and I don't want to disappoint them, even though it's my podcast at the end of the day, which was something that I had realized when I got older and became less of like a people pleaser. But during that time, it was just kind of like, all right, let's keep this up. And I was, again, doing numbers, doing good, but the vision like that I had originally had became shifted. And it eventually got to the point where like this was the only thing people were talking about. People were just talking about like, oh, it was a really good episode, like you should keep it up, talk about this next time, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, like I don't like the attention. Like, what a surprise. Or maybe I just don't like that much of attention. I think bringing it up in conversation every now and again is fine, but to have that be the only thing that people talk to me about is just kind of like, it feels like I was pigeonholed. And I was like, I have other hobbies, I have other interests. Podcasting, making podcasts isn't the only thing I do. So eventually we had gotten in trouble with the school, because it's like, surprise, if you're talking about drama involving other students with the school, like they're gonna come in and be like, like, hey, like, you should probably stop that. So yeah, I got pulled into the principal's office, and they like were like, hey, like, we heard you got a podcast, you're talking about other students. And I like, I was like a fucking lawyer. Like I was like, you ain't got nothing on me. Because it's like, yes, we are talking about people, but we don't like be using like full names. We just be using like first name basis, and you know, there's like a tons of names in the school, multiple similar names, so it's like you don't really know who we're talking about. And that's like at the worst. Most of the time we're just being pretty vague. And so they were like, the school staff was kind of like, damn, like we really don't got anything on them, like there's not really much we can do. So it's like, you know, like don't do it again, that kind of thing. And I was just like, man, like fuck you. But we still continued it for quite some time after that. But I was just kind of like, even the people I was doing it with didn't really care about the podcast. It was just kind of like something to brag about. Like, oh yeah, I'm a part of the so-and-so podcast. And I'm just like, you don't even do anything. Like, I'm the one who's like recording, editing, uploading, like doing everything. And you're just over here like acting like you're like the big ho-ho or the, you know, big boss, and just telling everybody about it. And it's like, okay, man. And so when I realized it was more about like a clout thing instead of, or it had turned into like a clout chasing thing and just an attention grabbing thing. Like I mentioned earlier, the vision just at this point had been completely warped, and it wasn't really something I could stand with. So I just stopped uploading. Like I was like, hey, podcast, we're done. Last episode, like bye. And then everybody went their separate ways, and you know, that was about it. And after that, I quit YouTube for years. I never really went back because that whole like everything leading up to that, just like it kind of soured my perspective on making content. Like, okay, like, well, if I want to get big, I have to like do something outlandish or something that grabs people's attention, or preferably both for the viewer. And I didn't feel like doing that. And I was stuck in that mindset for a while where it's like, oh, if I'm doing content, like it has to be like, I have to be doing like, you know, I gotta go big or go home, essentially, right? Because that's kind of like everybody's mindset, especially now when it comes to being a content creator. It's just like doing the next big crazy thing. What can I push next and next that goes like pushing boundaries? And it really strayed away from like what I had originally liked when I was a kid, which was just doing it because you like to do it and just doing it for the passion, right? Just you're not expecting anything you're not expecting anything in return. And me realizing that was really a big push for starting to create content again, because at this point everybody is just doing this for attention grabbing and just like, you know, like I need viewers. Like you'll see a bunch of content creators who make videos that just stretch out the time and don't really talk about anything. They're just talking about whatever because, you know, they need that view time. They don't care. They're just doing this because, you know, you give them views, algorithm likes it, in return more views, and then they get, you know, money. And it irritated me because, again, like, I'm not saying everybody is like that, but I don't see most of these big creators doing this just because they like to. They're just doing it because it gets them money. Like that's it. So that, on top of me being like a different person now and not being as much of like a pushover people pleaser, doing things just, you know, because people tell me to, and I don't want to, you know, disappoint them or make them upset. I was like, let's give it another shot. Let's do content creation again. And so I made this channel, started from scratch, and because I could have used the old channel, and because I already had like an audience there, and I was just like, but I want to do things the right way this time. I want to do everything from scratch and like just do it on my own, you know, not have to do the content that where it's like, oh, I gotta do something crazy to get views. No, I just want to do things because I want to do them and be passionate about it and make a video or a product that I could stand behind, right? And I'm way happier now, like especially on this channel, and just again posting whatever I want to post and not have because I don't post often, but you know, when I do, it's like I try to work on videos whenever I have free time, and you know, when I do, I'm like pretty satisfied with the end result. I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice, yeah. And if it gets views, it gets views. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like how I was when I was a kid and just think about like, oh, the views, I need more views, because it's not about that. it's not about that for me anymore. It's just having an outlet to express myself creatively, because I can't draw. I can't, like, people say I have a nice voice, but I don't know how good I would be at singing. So for me, this is a creative outlet where I could, like, express myself artistically and have other people actually enjoy it, and it makes me feel good. I'm like, wow, that's nice. Always keep in mind that there's a clock ticking. Live your life to the absolute fullest. If the world's on fire and you're gonna struggle regardless, at least struggle in the pursuit of something you love.